These people who are local to you are going to say, "Oh, I know Sally, and Sally ordered from this baker. I should try that baker too." They're going to connect because chances are they know someone in the group and they're seeing their friend commented on your post, and they're going to trust on an even deeper level because the friend that they know personally liked your product.
Welcome to the Breadwinner Podcast. This is the show for sourdough microbakery owners who are building a sustainable, successful, profitable business from their home. If you are already in business or if you're dreaming of starting one, this is the place for you. I'm your host, Caroline Bauer. I own a successful in-home sourdough bakery, and I am here to share everything I've learned that works and that doesn't, plus everything that I'm researching along the way so we can build thriving businesses together.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of the Breadwinner Podcast. It's Caroline here, and I am here to share yet another strategy to help you build a profitable, sustainable business that aligns with your life. Today's topic is one that I've been wanting to share about for quite a while. We're going to be talking about utilizing local Facebook groups. This is absolutely one of my number one ways that I have grown my business, and it can be such a powerful tool to reach more people in your community. So if you've ever wondered how to tap into your community to get more customers, to build connections, and to spread word about your sourdough, this episode is for you. So you might not even be on Facebook. I know a lot of people that I talk to are not, or maybe you have a really old account that you haven't used in years. It may feel a little old school, a little boomer, depending on your generation, maybe a little senior millennial, especially with Instagram and TikTok being some of the primary platforms right now. But don't sleep on Facebook. Stick with me because there are some goldmine opportunities right there in your local groups. And in today's episode, we're going to talk about exactly how to use them to grow your bakery and best practices so that you are not one of those annoying spammers. I already know that if you're listening to this podcast, you are not that type of person, but that may be one of the things you associate when you think of Facebook groups, people just sharing ads for car detailing over and over. I'm going to tell you how to break through the noise, how to be seen, how to find the right groups, and how to grow your local business through Facebook groups. So by the end of this episode, you'll feel confident jumping into your local Facebook community and turning casual interactions into loyal customers. So let's go ahead and get started and talk first about why local Facebook groups matter. Now, just a preface before I jump into this, when I'm talking about Facebook groups, I'm talking about the local groups that are already established. This episode is not talking about you setting up your own group just strictly for your bakery for people to come and learn about that. We might do an episode about that in the future. This one is about utilizing the geographic specific groups in your area to reach people in your community. So here's why I think Facebook groups should be on your radar if they aren't already. Or if they are and you're maybe underutilizing them, this is how you can get the most out of your interactions. So it's tempting to only focus on the social media platforms where you can go viral or reach thousands of people like TikTok or Instagram. But there is a very special magic in the local, smaller communities. So Facebook groups are filled with people who live in your area, who shop in your local stores, and who are most importantly interested in what's happening right in your backyard. If your goal is to build an online branch of your business, then it makes a lot of sense to put your energy into Instagram or TikTok. However, if you are trying to reach people who are hyper local to you, then you probably need to get on Facebook. So these local groups are basically like a town hall in digital form. So whether it's a group for local moms or a neighborhood group or a buy nothing group, there is so much potential here for relationship building that can lead to long-term loyal customers. And the best part, it's free marketing. So have you ever posted in a local group and wondered if anyone's paying attention? Maybe you just posted and got absolute crickets. That is not an uncommon experience, but today we're going to talk about how to make sure that they actually see and interact with what you're sharing. So first things first, you need to find the right Facebook groups. Not all groups are created equal. There are the ones that are just filled with spammers. There are the ones that are absolute crickets every time you post. So the key is to making sure that you are spending your time in the ones that are most likely to help you grow your business. So look for groups that have a strong local presence. These could be neighborhood specific, citywide, interest based groups like a local foodie group or a local business owners group. My area, and I think a lot of areas, have multiple moms groups. So join groups that are relevant to you. If you're not a mom, don't try to join the moms groups. That's weird. Unless if you're like a young woman who's heading towards motherhood. But it's a little weird when we see male business owners in the moms groups. But join groups that you fit into and that have active conversations happening daily. So this means that you see people who are engaged and they're interested in what other people have to say. They're asking questions, people are answering. You see a lot of activity. Before you join a group, you can see how many members are in the group and how many new posts have happened in the last day or in the last week. So if you are looking at a group and there are a lot of members, but nothing new is being posted, that's probably not a group that you're going to get a lot of traction in. That's probably a quiet group where the algorithm's not going to be showing the members the posts in there and it's not worth your energy. So if you get into a group, and a lot of times you have to request to join, many of the groups are private, and I actually recommend private groups versus public. If you get in there and you see a lot of posts, but no one's commenting on anything, that might not be worth your time. Engagement is key. So if you get in a group and see that it's just quiet, no one's really commenting or interacting or answering questions, go ahead and leave the group. It's not worth your time. Keep looking until you find, even if you just find one fantastic group, that is going to be worth it rather than trying in 6 different groups that just aren't fitting. Once you're in and you're seeing an active, engaged audience within the group, people are asking questions, people are answering, people are tagging other businesses, things like that. Don't just jump straight into selling. So, this is where a lot of business owners get it wrong. They join the group and then 10 minutes later, their request to join is approved and they're in there posting an ad. Don't be like that. That is not the way to optimize your presence in these groups. So take some time before you post anything to understand the group's rules and the group's energy, the group's vibes. So most groups will have guidelines about what's allowed. There will be the group rules, and then they may also have in the featured posts section, they may have a post pinned that tells what's okay. Maybe they tell when you can post your business ads. If there's a certain format, there's a group that I'm in that has a very specific format for business posts. You have to post from your personal account and tag your business in the very first line. So pay attention to that. Be really respectful of the group rules and make sure that you understand what's expected. And some groups will have one business post a week and you post under that thread rather than just making your own post. Some may not actually even allow business ads at all, but that does not mean that you can't still promote your bakery. Once you're in the group, the key is to engage in conversations, to answer questions, to offer helpful advice before you ever pitch your business. But this is going to build trust. And when people click into your profile, they'll see your history in the group and they can see that you have been commenting and offering helpful insights in other people's posts before you go and post about your own business. They'll see that you're active in the community. They'll see that you're a real person who is relatable and is more well rounded than just strictly selling bread. And this builds trust. So if you see a post where someone's asking for recommendations for a local baker or homemade bread, you jump right on in there with a friendly, helpful response. You're not just going to post your link to your ordering page, but you can mention, tag the Facebook page for your micro bakery, and maybe offer a helpful tip. Offer how to store your bread or answer questions like about what ingredients you use and what makes you different. And even if the person who asked the question doesn't come purchase from you, other people will see your answer and that grows your visibility. And if you're tagging your business page, they can jump over and follow you there. Remember, people are so much more likely to buy from people that they trust. So building relationships comes first before selling. The next thing you can do is make a lasting impression by sharing the story behind your bakery. So people don't just want to buy bread, they want to connect with the person who made it. So you can use Facebook groups to share more about your journey. Maybe you started baking because of a family tradition. Do you handcraft every loaf with locally sourced ingredients? Do you use organic? What sets you apart? Why did you start doing what you do? And how can you connect that story with people in your community? Storytelling is one of the absolute best ways to sell because people are drawn to stories, especially stories that they resonate with and connect with in their own lives. So take advantage of that. This could even look like you see in a mom's group, a mom is asking for quick meal ideas. You can jump in there and say, hey, we love a good grilled cheese sandwich on a busy evening, and sourdough bread is my favorite way to make it. You don't need to say, I make sourdough, but maybe they'll say, where do you get your sourdough? Or they can click into your profile and see that you run a sourdough bakery. So here's how I utilize storytelling when I very first got started. My very first post before I sold a loaf of bread was in a local group. And I said, hey, my baking hobby is getting out of hand. We are filling up our freezer and we don't have any more room. Such a little story. And it's relatable, right? People are like, oh, yeah, our freezer's really full too. And it positions me as a real person. And I'm not coming in saying, I have extra loaves of bread, come buy them. So I opened with that. And then I said, I have a couple extra loaves of bread that won't fit in the freezer and just came out of the oven. What do you think I should do with them? I did not say they're for sale. I did not post a link to buy them or ask people to message me to buy them. I asked for suggestions. And that post gained hundreds of views. Over 50 people commented. So many people said that they wanted to buy the bread. And that was the catalyst for the beginning of my bakery. I connected with a couple of those people, sold them the first two loaves of bread. And then the very next week, I posted a follow up and said, thank you so much. That response was overwhelming. I'm so grateful for the support. I have a few more loaves this week. And from there, I posted a link to my Google Forms for them to order. But I started with that story and I started with connecting with the community conversationally after I had already been active in the group. So they trusted me as a human. That also allowed them to connect with the journey of my bakery. So I still have some repeat customers who commented on that very first post, and they have a little bit of sense of pride of being like one of the OGs, one of the very first. And often I'll have people comment and say, hey, I saw that very first post, and it's so cool to see how you've grown. So they get to connect with the journey of your bakery and take a little bit of ownership and pride in it too. You are a little bit of their local community, and they will notice you and share word of mouth with their friends. Another great way to engage with your local audience is with some behind the scenes content. So if you're posting for the very first time, throw in a couple pictures and maybe add a video of some of what goes into making your loaf. Maybe it's a little insight into how you take care of your starter or some of the ingredients you chose, or show them the bread coming out of your home oven. So not only does this give people a peek into your world, but it also makes them feel connected to your business. People love to see how their product is made and they really connect. That is a form of storytelling. They connect with the process. Another key to success in the Facebook groups is creating value before you make the ask. So this could look like answering a question about bread storage, sharing sourdough tips, sharing some easy, quick meal ideas. So once you have established yourself as a helpful, friendly presence in the group, then you can start to share more directly about your business. So this doesn't have to take a year. You don't have to spend ages in the group, but just engage for a week or so before you really start posting about your business. And then once you have a little bit of rapport built, then you can start sharing things like, I have some extra loaves for pickup, or here's a special discount for group members. Maybe you share that you're going to be at the local market and encourage them to come out and support you and other local businesses. And then post a follow up and say, hey, I sold out really quick. Thank you so much for your support. Here's a link to get notifications each week and pre order so that you don't miss out at the market. That's another way that I have grown through the local groups is by showing how people keep showing up for me and then building the kind of sense of scarcity a little bit and saying, hey, if you don't want to take a chance on missing me, or if you can't make it to the market early on Saturday morning before I sell out, here's the link to pre order so you don't have to deal with that. That's going to build your pre order list too, so that you're not relying just on markets. So, one of the most powerful things about these local Facebook groups is the social proof. This is a kind of a fancy way of saying word of mouth. So once you have established your presence and you post maybe that follow up thank you post, they showed up, supported you at the market, you sold out, and you're so grateful, then people will likely start to comment and say things like, this is the best bread, or we got bread at the market and we loved it. And other people see that. The more activity on your post, the more the algorithm is going to push it in front of a larger audience. And the more your community, these people who are local to you, are going to say, oh, I know Sally, and Sally ordered from this baker. I should try that baker too. They're going to connect because chances are they know someone in the group and they're seeing their friend commented on your post, and they're going to trust on an even deeper level because the friend that they know personally liked your product. So utilize word of mouth, utilize social proof to help build trust and grow your local audience. So the power of a little thank you post can be so huge. People love to support businesses that are already supported by their neighbors. The final and very important tip in utilizing Facebook groups to grow your local business is to be consistent. If you post once and your response is crickets, do not give up. Do not completely discard that strategy entirely. Facebook groups can be really hit or miss. Like I said before, coming in conversationally is going to help a lot if you invite conversation, maybe even ask people what flavors they're looking for in this season, or what they'd like to see on your menu, or where they want to shop. But invite conversation. That's going to help your posts be seen more. But if you don't get response, don't give up. Your posts are still being seen. Stay consistent. So you don't want to spam. You're not posting daily. That's a quick way to get ignored or even kicked out of the group, but you do want to engage regularly. So not only are you going to be answering here and there when you see a post that's relevant pop up, maybe recommend another local business, but put up your own post consistently. For me, I post every other Friday in one of our local groups because every other Saturday is when I go to market. So my Friday post is on Friday morning, and I say, on Saturdays, we shop local every single time. And then I say, the Bluebird Bread Co. is going to be out at the market tomorrow from 9 to 2 alongside this lineup of 30 other vendors. And then I'll give a little preview of what my menu will contain. I'll let them know what time I'll be out there and the address. And that post usually gets seen really well. People will often comment on it and tag a friend and say, hey, let's go tomorrow. But that consistency, that me showing up over and over, means that people think sourdough and they think about my business. If you search the word sourdough in a lot of our local groups, my posts are the ones that show up the most. Even if I'm not posting every single week, I am still the most consistent baker in the area, and that has paid off. So be consistent. Don't give up if you're not getting results right away. Just continue and use keywords that people are going to search, like sourdough, and tag your business page in your post so people can follow you. So think of Facebook groups as attending a community event. Show up often and show up enough that people remember you. Don't make every conversation about you, and just be a part of the group's life so that when people think of sourdough, they'll think of you. When people's friends ask about sourdough, they'll recommend you. It's a long game and it takes consistency, but it absolutely pays off because, like I said, this is where your neighbors are and this is where you'll reach the local people who want to buy from you. So there you have it. Using local Facebook groups to grow your sourdough microbakery isn't just about promoting your business, but it's about building connections, building trust, and building value within your community. So start out by finding the right groups, engage meaningfully, share your story, and create value for others, and they will absolutely start to recognize you and trust you and buy from you. And remember, the more you give, the more you'll get back. So you never know who's in these groups. It might be your next loyal customer. It might be a partner for a pop-up event. It might be someone who becomes a regular ambassador and tells all their friends about you. So if you've been sleeping on Facebook groups, this is your sign to go ahead and give them a try. All right. If this episode was helpful, if you took some tidbits away that you're going to go apply to help grow your business, I would love to hear about it. Take a screenshot of the show, tag me. I'm Caroline Bauer _ sourdough on Instagram so I can reshare it and we can see where we're all listening from and we can all get connected together. If you're not already following the show, make sure that you've subscribed so you don't miss an episode. They drop every Monday and Thursday. And if you haven't already taken a minute to review and rate the show, that would mean the world. That helps other bakers find the show. It helps bump me up in searchability so that more people can learn and grow their business together. All right, I will be back soon with another episode. But until then, happy baking.